Hey, what's up? It's Kit. Time for another video. Today we're gonna talk about how I rig my casting jigs, and I'm just gonna show my process really and why I'm rigging them like that. Okay. Now, for those of you who are just joining us, I make educational fishing videos here on YouTube, and I cover everything from ultralight, big game, everything in the middle, including fly fishing. Today we're talking about casting jigs. Okay. Now we have the old standbys here. Okay, so this is the jig para. This is the 10 and the 15 model. Now they cast well, they swim great. Only problem for me is that sometimes when you need the range, you don't get there. Okay, there's nothing wrong with them, they work perfectly. In fact, this is probably one of my most favorite jigs. They're easy to use, they swim well, they cast great. But when you need the extra distance, you'd have to upgrade to something bigger. And sometimes you just want, just a little probably bump. Okay. Now the thing with the jig paras, when you compare the 10 and the 15, they're actually the same lure. But when you go to the 20, you'll see that it's a bit slimmer, more than it is wide. And for me, that's kind of like a different lure, and the action's just not there. Also, if you upgrade to the 20 gram or the 30 gram, you'll find that they're actually sizable. Okay, now if you compare this one to the 15 gram, you'll see that it's just a tad larger. It is a bit on the thick side, but as far as the length is concerned, it's only a tad bigger. And this is what matters to me, because sometimes you don't want the profile, especially the length, to change, but it's not there. Okay, so like a 30 gram would be kind of longer for a jig para, and for me that's kind of like a deal breaker, especially when I'm looking for something that's small but heavy. I could go to tungsten, but then again, that costs more than double. I don't even want to go there. So these are 30 grams and these are 40. Okay, so as you can see, the difference between the 30 and the 40, kind of a very small difference there. Now what I'm after obviously is the casting range. Now when you're casting at range, you don't know what's down there unless you have actually dove down, or you've actually run through the whole place with a fish finder, kind of something that's hit and miss. And when I usually use these, they usually just get reeled straight, and judging from these, of course, they kind of remind me of the how I used the Yozuri Blanca from back in the day, and that's exactly how I'm gonna use these. Okay, so I'm gonna be casting them out, letting them sink down a little bit, and then after that just reel it. So I'm gonna rely on how they swim, and these swim pretty great. I mean, the reviews on these online are actually not bad. So the kind of like a modern Yozuri Blanca for me, if you could call it that, at least for its use. Now a lot of people would approach this in a different manner, rightfully so, but for me, I usually check on what the environment is down there. Now most of the time here in the Middle East, it's actually pretty easy to figure out. It's sand. Okay, 90% of the places that you fish here are just basically sand with some scattered rocks. Now when you're faced with a situation like that, then it's easy to actually put in an assist hook, such as these, or such as these. Okay, you could also add treble hooks if you want to. Okay, so treble hooks at the back would work great, especially since they're smaller ones. A fish would have the possibility of actually swallowing them. Okay, especially the bigger ones. Now if I'm fishing somewhere that is snaggy, I do away with the double assist hooks and instead go to single assist hooks. One hook wouldn't snag as much, just as effective. Okay, so like that. Okay, and then if I want to increase my chances, again, instead of using a treble, it'll be a single hook at the back, just like that, and everything's good. Now 30 gram, 40 gram, there's very little difference, like 10 grams, yes. So even with the same sized assist hook, it's not really going to affect much as far as hooking percentage is concerned. But the most important thing there is that you actually tailor your rigs with the place you fish. I know there are a lot of people there that just use whatever they have in their box, and that works too. And I'm not trying to say that that's the wrong way. It's just that when you're actually fishing in places like places that you have not fished yet, or places that you don't know what's down there, it's much better to actually prepare for the unknown. Now these jigs are actually not cheap. They're actually quite expensive. Now if I was fishing with a jig para, and then it's I find it affordable. Or even when you're fishing copies out there, having your lure snag on the bottom makes your trip more expensive. And with that, obviously, comes the retying of your leader if your leader parted. The worst, if your braid actually parted, you will spend more time tying all these things, putting a new leader, right? Checking your braid if it's damaged. So you spend a lot of time rather than actually putting together a system right in the water. Okay, that will save you all that trouble. And this is the whole reason why I'm so confused sometimes, where people just take things out of their box and then throw it, and then when they snag or when they lose the jig, they're okay to spend the time to do that, when in fact you can just actually plan ahead of time and not lose fishing time. And this is the whole reason why I carry an assortment of hooks, especially with these. Okay, now with these, what I do, just so I can carry quite a lot in a small package, I'll show you exactly how you can do these things without spending a ton of money. Okay, now if you go to your bookshop and find plastic dividers such as these, okay, you can just store whatever and you can label them, okay, just like that. And you know what, I've actually went to the bookstore just down the road for this one. See, it doesn't take that much space, keeps everything organized, especially if you have loose packs such as this. So you have 5 of those, very easy to carry, it doesn't take a lot of space. Now if you're carrying treble hooks such as these ones, you can also put them there, but it makes the whole thing a bit thicker. Okay, just like that. But look at that, see, it is so easy to carry around, and you have your rigging right there in the water when you need it. Okay, you can also store leaders such as these in there. Okay, they're not going to be folded as much because it's almost the same length. So this is practically a very good piece of kit to have, and all it is just a folder of sorts, and it's cheap. I think I paid about $1 for this, probably less. Okay, so rather than actually having them rigged, okay, if you go to the area and you have all these things with you, it's very easy to just put a system that will work for that particular area for you. Easier, okay, faster, and you won't snag. And instead of actually struggling, see, look, split rings, I'll put it inside. Okay, just so you can see, you can separate, have several in Ziploc bags. You will have your trebles, assist hooks, single hooks in one place. It's very easy, very convenient. Put it in your pocket, you can put it in your vest, you can put it in a small tackle box, in a small bag. Very easy, and you will have all these options when you reach a spot. Again, once you reach a spot, you'll see if it's rocky, then you switch all to single hooks. If it's just all sand, then you can put in as many hooks as you want. But the most important thing there is to actually extend your fishing time instead of fiddling around these things. You know, snagging. I think snags are actually something that you could avoid. It's just that not a lot of people put a lot of thought into that and then just grab whatever is in their tackle box and cast it. The very first cast you snag, you're already losing on the best times to fish. Okay, so keep that in mind, guys. I hope this is something that would prove useful for you. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe and click on that notification bell because it's very important. I'll see you guys in the next one.